All right, I'm probably about 200 feet right now. I'm gonna hit it again. It says 1 cam recording right now. I'm gonna hit this again. Go a little bit closer. If you're thinking about picking up a GoPro Smart Remote to control multiple cameras, you might want to reconsider. So just a quick review on the GoPro Smart Remote. I wanted to pick this up because I have multiple GoPros and there are situations where I use them for taking multiple angles. So the idea of hitting record on one single remote and starting them all at the same time instead of having to walk to each camera and hit record was appealing. However, when I got this and tested it out just indoors, I couldn't get it to reliably work. I'd hit record, some of them would start, some wouldn't. I thought, well, maybe this is just an indoor problem. So I took it outside and conducted a couple of tests to see how it would do in an outside environment, which is where you're probably gonna be using your GoPros most of the time. So I set up 4 cameras, the 4, 5 session, 6, and 7. And then I put a camera on them so I could see when each of them stopped and started recording. All right, here we are. 4 are connected, 4 are recording. All right, so this first test is going to be a distance test. The goal is to find out how well the cameras respond to the remote at 100-foot increments all the way up to 600 feet. Which is supposed to be the max distance the Smart Remote is able to work the cameras. So we've started from 0 feet with all the cameras recording, started by the remote. You can see the video for each camera directly underneath each camera on the screen here. 100 feet. I'm gonna stop the 4. So at 100 feet, all the cameras respond, no problem. But shortly after, it looks like the remote loses connection with 2 of the cameras. Says I got 2 cams connected. It's a little grainy, but you should be able to see it right there. It says 2 cams. So the GoPro Smart Remote should always tell you how many cameras are connected or ready and how many cameras are recording. And given that the Smart Remote is supposed to be able to control up to 50 cameras simultaneously, theoretically it should have no problem controlling 4 at 1/6 of its max distance. But it fairly quickly picks up all 4 cameras again. 4 cams. All right, hit and record again. All right, and moving on to 200 feet. Just 200 feet. Says I got 3 connected. You can't see it, but after a few seconds, it picks up the 4th and I'm able to stop all the cameras. All right, I got 4 connected. Stopping them. I just hit stop. It says it's still recording. It says 1 camera is still recording. So even though all the cameras stopped, the remote shows that 1 camera is still recording. But again, after a few seconds, it shows the correct information. All right, so now it says 4 cams ready. Okay, hitting record again. All right, still works. On to 300. 300 feet. 4 cameras recording. If you can see that, 4 cameras recording. That says 3 now. Now it says 2. Here we are at 300 feet. It says 2. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I'm waiting for it to show 4, because if I hit stop on 2, it's probably just gonna stop 2 cameras. I'm gonna do it. All right, so the reason I call that test a fail is because I gave the remote nearly a full minute to get connected with all the cameras and it never did. So I finally decided just to go ahead and hit stop to see if the cameras would respond despite the remote showing it was only connected to 2. Since the remote had been so erratic at showing how many cameras it was connected to, I thought maybe it was just a readout problem and not necessarily a connection problem. But this proved to be false since the remote showed it was connected to 2 cameras and stopped 2 cameras. So while the readout and response was consistent, I still call this test a fail since the remote wasn't connecting with all the cameras in what I felt was a reasonable amount of time. Subjective measurement, but I think it's fair since all the marketing materials surrounding this product make it seem like as long as you have 50 or less cameras connected and you're within the operating range of 600 feet, you should have no problem. Moving on. Still says 2 cameras recording. I hit stop. Did nothing. I thought it did nothing because it showed 2 cameras connected when I hit stop. So since it showed 2 cameras still recording, I thought it was the same 2 cameras, but actually it stopped the other 2 and now has reconnected to the 2 that are still recording. And apparently lost connection with the 2 that it stopped. Pretty sporadic. Makes it kind of difficult to know what's actually going on. So now I'm confused and I don't even know it.
I'm gonna hit stop one more time. Okay, so everything is stopped. So I have 3 cameras ready right now, 4 cameras ready. 300 feet, 4 cameras ready. I just hit record.
Alright, so this time it passed since it was able to reconnect and control all 4 cameras again. So it passed 1 out of 2 tests at 300 feet. On to 400 feet. But I didn't quite get to 400 feet before it lost connection with everything.
Okay, here we are, 350 feet, and it's searching. I don't know if you can see that. Searching here. 0 cam. Still recording. Okay, 2 cams. So we got 3 cams. 4 cams. All right, we lost it for a bit. 3 cams.
So it looks like that was the first time it lost connection with everything, and it eventually got them back, but it's still struggling. So on the rest of the distance to 400 feet.
All right, 400 feet from the start. And my arm is exhausted, so I'm gonna switch. All right, we got 3 cams. It says 3 recording. They should all be recording, but it says, you see, 2 cams. So it's not connected with everything. All right, I'm gonna hit stop. It says 2 cams recording. I'm gonna hit stop right now.
So again, I'm going to call this a fail because the goal is for the remote to stay connected to the cameras so you can stop and start them all whenever you need to. And it's proving very unreliable at being able to do that.
Now it says 1 cam recording. I don't know. 1 cam recording. Whatever that means. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop one more time. Actually, just before I hit stop, it said 3 cams ready. And then I hit record. And now it says 2 recording, 3 recording. So maybe we just got 3 recording. I don't know.
So regardless of whatever the readout said, at the time I last pressed stop start, the Hero 6 and 7 started recording again. But the readout is all over the place. I have no idea what's going on. So the 400-foot test is basically a fail because it is not in control of all 4 cameras.
Yeah, 400 feet. 3 cams recording, maybe 4, maybe 2. No idea. Let's try for 500.
And fast forwarding to 500 feet.
All right, 500 feet. It says 1 cam recording. If you can see that. 0 cam, so it's not connected, but we still see the record light. So we know they're still going. 1 camera. All right, now nothing. Okay, now it just got 2 cameras. Yeah, connected to 2, still recording. It showed Wi-Fi searching for a minute, so.
So basically I decided not to do a test with the stop record button at this point because it's looking like it's probably not going to connect to all 4 cameras. But just for fun, I decided to go ahead and move out to 600 feet to see what happens there.
Yep, 600 feet, and we're searching.
So I start walking forward to see when it might pick up something. Then after about 10 steps, I decide to hit stop record again to see if I get any response despite the readout.
I'm gonna record just to see if it does anything. Oh, found a camera. 1 cam, oh, searching again.
So at this point I start working my way back, still watching and testing the remote, but it's the same story, hit and miss on the connections. It seems like the 7 and 6 connect a little better than the 5 or 4, but still nothing was consistent enough to be any kind of reliable. So overall I'd call the multicam distance test a fail because there's no way you could rely on this kind of a setup in an action setting to control multiple cameras. Way too unreliable. Meanwhile, back at home base.
Hey.
Don't mess up somebody's feelings.
Hope you do good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And you as well. Awesome. Had to include it. All right, so that pretty much concludes the distance test. So the second test that I did was completely within range. I wasn't trying to do a distance test, and I wasn't paying so much close attention to the screen. I was just acting as if I was in a normal action type environment, which these GoPro action cameras are meant for.
Thinking if you're out, like say you're on a jet ski or some active situation, if you got cameras set up, you're not gonna be like staring at this waiting for all of them to connect. You're probably just gonna hit it when you want it to record. So that's where they need to have some reliability. That's what I want to test here.
But before I could even get started with the second test, I couldn't get all the cameras to connect to the remote when I was right next to them.
Starting with record. Looks like we got everybody but the 6 recording. Let's try to stop that. I want them all to start.
So I'm waiting for it to show me that 4 cameras are connected.
Come on, give me 4, give me 4. 3 cams, I want 4.
So the next time I try it, it looks like the Hero 5 isn't connected.
3 cams. Everybody but the Hero 5.
This goes on for a little over 3 full minutes before I'm able to get all 4 cameras to connect successfully. Not sure what the problem was. I checked batteries, everything looked good. Shouldn't have been a problem, especially since I was right next to all the cameras at this point. But I had to make sure they could all connect and record before I started this second test. So 3 minutes later.
But I got 4 cams ready now. All right, they're all going. Sweet.
All right, so I'm just going to fast forward through this next test and tell you what happened while you watch what happened. So over the course of this test, I hit the stop record button 20 times. I stayed mostly in the 100 to 400 foot range, just wandering around, arbitrarily hitting the stop record button as planned. The camera responses were all over the place, as you can see. What I was looking for in all this testing was for the remote to be able to start and stop all the cameras simultaneously each time I hit the start-stop button on the remote, which is what's supposed to happen, and which is the only way it would be useful to me in a multi-camera situation. Out of the 10 cycles that I hit stop record during this test, all of the cameras responded as they were supposed to only 2 times. Which, for the purposes of this test, means that working the cameras with this GoPro Smart Remote is only reliable 20% of the time. Not nearly enough for me to want to risk it on any kind of a situation where I want to make sure I get all my angles for any type of GoPro filming. If you're curious how each camera did, the 4 actually responded the best this time. Not that it matters much. So this is basically useless to me. If I can't count on it to connect to all the cameras when I want to start recording and stop recording, I'm gonna miss angles. I'm not gonna be able to reliably count on getting the shots that I want. So I can't use this. Bit of a disappointment for me. At a $70 to $80 price point, something like this should do what it says it's going to do. That's not a tiny investment. But I just wanted to pass on, because all the videos that I've seen online talk about how to connect the cameras. Those are all fine. I didn't have any problem connecting any of my cameras. It was just when it came to using them and controlling them that the problems came in, obviously. And I wasn't the only one having these kinds of experiences. I went on a few sites to read up on some consumer reviews and found some very similar things to what I had been experiencing. I went to the GoPro website, I went to Amazon, went to Best Buy, and on each site, the GoPro Smart Remote had at least a 4 out of 5 stars or better, but there were several, definitely no shortage of comments talking about the same issues that I was seeing and that you saw in this video. So I can't say that this is a one-off like malfunctioning product because other people are having that same problem. So if you're thinking about picking up one of these to control multiple cameras and an action camera type environment where you can't babysit it and make sure that it's actively connected to all the cameras, then I definitely would not recommend this product. The only reliable method I've found so far is just to be able to hit record, manually going to each camera, physically moving myself. That's what I was trying to get away from by using something like this, but apparently the technology is not quite there yet. Anyways, that's a review. Hopefully that was helpful in helping you consider whether to buy something like this or not. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll catch you in another one.